Hello, dear tribe. If you are in a place of feeling really angry and in deep grief, I do not recommend that you listen to this video at this time. I would encourage you to visit some of the videos that I posted last fall in November and December. They would probably be more helpful to you. This video today, I'm wanting to attack the us versus them um, experience that many have been experiencing around between Trump supporters and those who are not Trump supporters. So some people have accused me of creating an us and them experience. Certainly last fall, I was not creating us and them, but from a wise place of healing and creating ourselves being in a more empowered place. We had to acknowledge that Trump supporters were in a delirium. I use the example of people who are alcoholics. You need to create a buffer between yourself and the alcoholic, and you need to create some way of having the tough love, and um, you need to come from a wise place. When somebody is that out of their hearts, you need to create a wise approach to dealing with them. And the first step is creating your own bubble of peace. And so that often means creating some space from people who are really in a bad place. And the fact is that Trumpers were not in a place of suffering last fall. They were very happy. So the wise thing to do is to just take a step back and create some peace for yourself and some solidity. So we've done a lot of work as a community, and those who are just joining now, you get to benefit from all the work that has been done in this community that's created not only a practical infrastructure, but also an energetic infrastructure for us to now be stepping to another level for creating authentic healing in the country of the United States. And somebody asked me to again state, I am an American, I am living in Canada. So I am not physically on American soil at this time, but I am very invested because I was born in America. It is my mother country, and I want to see us find a good way through. So, us versus them. I think that um, all of the heart-centered people who are able to be in a more healed place beyond the very natural anger and shock and grief, if you have moved into a place of a bit more well-being, it's really time for us to look at how to develop what we're all looking for in our hearts, which is recognizing that we are all part of a shared humanity and that we are all going through our own personal journeys of waking up and becoming awakened beings. And it's not going to work for us just to say, well, those people are the rejects and they're not going to belong. They don't, it's kind of like, that sort of more primitive, Christian idea that only Christians go to heaven and everybody else is a reject and goes somewhere else. That is not an enlightened way forward. And so it's not going to be us and them. And it never has been us and them in this tribe. What I am looking for us to start to do at this point is to open our hearts even more deeply to coming to an even more place of grounded healing within ourselves so that we can start to beam compassion to the Trump supporters so that we can be beaming love into this whole situation. I mean, it's not Trump that has created it. It's the suffering in our country that caused so many Americans to believe what Trump had to say and to go with that and to overlook all of the warning flags. there has been a deep need for healing in our country. So why don't we attack the problem of that deep need for healing rather than feeling like it has to be us versus them or Trump's the problem. The problem is a deeply rooted problem that we have been needing to bring healing to. So let's keep our eye on the ball. The first ball is your own self-care, your own well-being, so that you're in a good place, so you have something to give. And then the second ball is let's really dismantle everything that has led to the suffering in our country. Let's dismantle it. So perhaps it is partly from the history, the bad things that we have done as Americans. We did a huge amount of healing on that in the Pillar of Light program that I hosted on Sunday. And the replay of that is still available. You can still connect in with that healing opportunity. It's also possible that there are demonic forces that are feeding off of this dysfunctional pain and energy. So some of us have the skills to deal with those kinds of demonic forces. And I know that there are some people in this tribe who are light workers who have that kind of skill and ability. And I ask you to please work at that level. I do not, just to be clear, but I'm aware that for some of the really, really seedy things that happen in the world, there are demonic forces that are fed by that. And so people with the proper skills, I ask you to take a look into that and to see what can be done. Interestingly, as I'm saying that, I'm all of a sudden feeling this constriction in my throat, which is an indication to me that these demonic forces do not want this to be done. So for those of us who more just deal with the everyday, looking at what are these imbalances that have led to so much pain in the United States. I ask for us to come together as a community of love, as a community of warriors of peace, and for us to sink even more deeply into our practices of peace. There are many that are offered on a community level right here in this YouTube channel. There is the the peace prayer wave of peace, where people are meeting at 11:11 a.m. every day. And that's a wonderful opportunity for you to be dismantling this us versus them situation and getting to the root. And when you're saying your peace prayers, please intend for them to go to the root. We need more than just a surface, a superficial, a band-aid approach kind of peace. This is a time for all of us to really sink even more deeply into our spiritual practices and to bring our spiritual achievement, our spiritual mastery into these prayers, and to dismantle things at the very root. This is more than just political parties putting fixes on things. It's time for us as citizens to, for lack of a better word, take leadership. I meant to say, for lack of a better word. So it is time for us as citizens to take leadership. Let's take the bull by the horns and let's make this the country that we want, and let's create the outcome that we want by going to the root. So I know that we're going to be having ongoing dialogue about all of this because we will continue to grow as a community as we take each step of this hero's journey that is now opened up. But I thank you for receiving my message today about that it's not us versus them. So let's look at how to heal the underlying situation and create a beautiful, beautiful American people where people are connected and aligned, and there's lots of space for play and diversity and fulfillment and enjoyment in life. Let us create that. Thank you.